Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Stream
there
is
we
up and
go.
running now. So, okay, if you could just give the intro again, that'd be cool.
All right, let me just pause yours real quick. Okay. My tag is Penguis. I've been playing on and off. I played really consistently from 2019 to 2022, and then probably competed in like 6 tournaments those 2 years. And I'm starting to pick it up again. So I guess about 6 years. I'm from
Mm-hmm.
Texas, but I'm living in California right now. And my goal is to be a regional player or reach master ranked and ranked, or and just try to be more consistent across all matchups.
Nice. Okay, cool. Thanks for doing that again.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, let me stream to you really quick.
Cool.
And get the stream running up there.
All right.
Okay. Okay, cool. So you were saying that you have some trouble where like you shoot a laser, but it feels like a wrong type of laser.
Yeah, and
Um,
punishing Marth at 0, I swear, is the hardest thing to do in the game.
yes, so that's like a huge thing in this matchup is you can't really punish him at 0. Like it's not very easy to do like a big punish at 0. And a lot of times it's kind of like Sheik where you sort of just hunt for a shine at like low percent or like lasers or a grab, and that's pretty much it. Like a lot of times Marth ends up at like even if you get your best combo at 0, right? He only gets to like 25 or something. Like if you hit like your perfect combo. Um, so like I think that the building damage phase and sort of like dealing with his low percent is just like this really important part of the matchup every time because you just like it's very obvious that it's not the same as when he's at like 25 or something, and you can kind of like tear him apart off of one hit.
Right.
Okay. I'm just watching this. I'm like, how? Okay. I see. Wasn't really bad. I guess like this like I've never done this opener, which is why I kind of looked at it a bunch of times. I'm like a big like drop through laser person. Um, but it looks like this wouldn't have actually been that bad of a decision if like the laser actually hit. So it seems like maybe you had like a read on them or something like that, or like maybe it's just a good opener I've never really thought of. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, the laser missed, and then they just go crazy on you. I'm just gonna watch for a second.
And no, you're fine. I have a
Mm-hmm.
big problem too of like trying to follow people through platforms.
Trying to do what through platforms? Follow?
Yeah,
Yeah, so like they go down, and then you try to come down on top of them.
or like jump at them through the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I also am
Yeah,
like
I
the
feel
worst
like
pitch
it's really
scorer.
like a pretty good option against non-Marth characters. He's just like so insanely good at dealing with it.
Same thing with like Falcon, I think. He's got he's got
Oh
stuff.
wow.
I'm also like the worst edge guarder on the planet.
You say it's like kind of like Falcon? Or
Yeah,
yeah. I think Falcon is not quite as bad as Marth at least, because at least
no.
with Falcon, a lot of times you get the trade. But I do get where you're coming from. Okay.
And then I retreat on platforms too much, I think, against Marth. But I don't know what to do when he comes
Nah.
back.
Okay.
He's scary.
So that's the thing against Marth. You can actually retreat on platforms. He's actually really bad at reaching for the platforms, and it's like a state that I think that people don't play around enough.
Okay.
What Marth is really good at is hitting you for trying to get off the platforms. And I think that is somewhat confused sometimes by people. So like if you like think about I don't know if you've ever watched Wally play like Peach Marth, where he just like sits on the top plat. I don't know if you ever watched like a VOD of him doing that. He's
No, I
done it.
haven't.
He's done it to like Zane and stuff too. But basically, Marth is just sort of he has a really hard time getting up this high without overcommitting. And with Falco, like you can fall past him really easily if he overcommits vertically. So it's actually just like a generally good spot to actually just be on the platforms. Like if you ever feel like you are in danger and you go to the platform, you have not made like an error. The error is usually made because people don't keep playing neutral once they go to the plat. they're sort of like, okay, I escaped the neutral game by going to the platform. Now I will get down and resume the neutral game, you know?
Right. Yeah, and
But
then
like,
Marth just like, I'll punish you.
but like when you go up to the platform, you should sort of like reasonably assume that it'll take you not every single time, but you should assume it'll take you like a while. Like if you keep trying to get down and Marth cuts off your options like 3 or 4 times, that's not like a bad thing really. And it happens a lot. Think of like Puff Marth or something, where Puff is kind of running around on the platforms, and Marth, all he's really able to do is be like, well, if you try to come down and hit me, here's a hitbox. And if he
That's
really,
true.
and if he ever really tries to like reach out for it, like Marth doing like, let's say full hop fair or full hop up air or something like that, he's actually very vulnerable. And a lot of times you'll be able to get him with just some kind of like out of shield thing, or just like move out of the way, and now he's kind of trapped in the air and stuff like that. And after we go over this for a second, I'll go into Uncle Punch and just show you the side platform stuff really quick.
Okay.
But basically, he can't really jump up to the top plat easily because it's too high. And the side plat, he doesn't want to go directly under you because you have like runoff, fast fall, aerial mix-ups. And so a lot of times he'll sort of try to like jump here and then reach with like his nair to try to get you. But as long as you just stay to like this end and kind of like essentially you're mixing up like, am I here ready to run off and down air you? And you're kind of like threatening this position. But if he jumps in and tries to hit you here, you can either like shield and then shield drop punish, or just dash back. I do a lot of times where I'll do dash back, dash in, shield drop down air onto his landing out of the nair. Where like I dodge, because the nair is like this, right?
Right.
And I just like move this way past it and then drop down here. And what I will say is that unless you're playing like a top 5 Marth in the world, they will give you this every time. Like, I don't really know why, but they see you on side plat, and they're like, oh, I just attack when my opponent is on side plat. And it's, like, kind of the equivalent of, like, Falcon doing, like, an up air, but with less range. Like, when you get on the side plat and Falcon just, like, rips a short hop up air, it's not that good, and this is even worse, basically.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's like trying to back air a Sheik who's just shielding on the platform. You're just gonna get forward aired.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just kind of like a strong defensive position, but I think it's sort of natural. It's just like a natural psychological thing that happens to everyone, where Marth is just so good at hitting you for coming down that, like, it sort of just gets in all of our heads. Like, everyone is, like, I've had to work past it too. It's just like, it feels like the platforms are dangerous. But if you just run around on them for a bit, you'll realize he can't hit you. And when he does, he's normally like, oh, you acted like you were going to run off this way, so I ran to this side and aerial. And then you acted like you were going to run off this side, and I ran off this side and aerial. You know, and eventually, if you play it enough, like, he's committing way more than you are, and he doesn't want to, like, jump up and try to get you. A lot of the platform positions are just way more safe than people realize.
Huh.
Yeah, like, look at this. Look, watch. You go to the platform, he can't get you at all. He doesn't want to get you. He sees you going to the left side, so he's like, oh, maybe he'll just come down in this area. And when you don't, he just is throwing an option here. Like, imagine if you were right here, you could just run off an aerial after this. I'm telling you, they give this up, like, every single time. Like, it's crazy. Even, like, the good Marths. Like, I've caught, like, Kadoran and stuff with this, like, a ton of times, and I'm like, why? Like, you just... But it's just, like... kind of where the meta's at. Like, the meta is like Falco on platform, Marth swing, Marth win. You know, but it's just not like that.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. What is your knowledge on, like, retreating laser, approaching laser in this matchup?
That's a good question. Because I know, like, there is my buddy was telling me there's a retreating laser where you can't get dash tagged, or really, like, Marth really can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never really, I don't know if it's a dash and then turnaround, or...
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we gotta talk about that really quick before I keep watching this. Give me one sec.
So, I've learned about half dash lasers, but they're so hard to do. Super
Yeah, no,
consistent.
that's what I'm not... You don't have to do those. I actually think that those are, like... what should I say? Like, my Falco got pretty good, And I hadn't implemented them yet. They're good though. They're just out there in the future. And
It's
like
one of
you,
those like complex answer to a simple question right now.
what's that?
Like a complex answer to a simple question.
Yeah, it's more like they're just something that like you just would only need in like very particular situations, and I think that like you can overall structure like I don't think there's a single game plan that I have where like half retreating laser is like the biggest part. You know, it's definitely like relevant, but I would say that like you could top 8 a major without doing it.
Okay, right. Okay,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
trying to say. Is like it's really like not that like relevant. The full drift lasers and stuff like that are like way more important. Okay, so the first thing. Have you seen me do this thing where I do that? Where like he can't like dash attack you out of it.
No.
Okay, so check this out. So if you do laser, oop. If you do laser, if I do laser here and I dash away, so like at what range, you know, can Marth actually punish laser dash back? And it's basically like I'm pretty sure I can get like pretty close, but like let's like start with here. If I do this, watch how like oh that whole thing was in there, my bad.
Oh wow.
Like I'm mashing C-stick, C-stick, dash attack until.
Oh, Mango does that a bit, but then he'll like dash dance into turn like reverse down air, or like do weird stuff to punish.
If what?
Like if it, like I think I've seen Mango use it as a read where he'll laser dash back and then punish the.
Yeah, so this is like a big deal in the matchup because he can't hit you out of it, and it lets you keep playing neutral. So like a lot of the really good Falcos use this like crazy. So like if I'm right here, I think I can still get away. I could be wrong, but I think at that exact range. What? Okay, sorry. I don't know what was up with that.
So I think it's just save state of like 300.
Oh, I think yeah, the save state, the save state saved wrong. Okay.
Wow.
Look at that from that range. So if he gets hit with a laser and you run away, he can never hit you ever. He doesn't have a single input that'll actually hit you. Like, at all. And so this is important, because as soon as you get the laser out and you confirm it, you can feel, like, this sense that, like, if I move backwards, I am in total safety right now. But the issue is that in this matchup, the corner matters so much. Like, if you have center stage on Marth, it's incredible. Matchup is wonderful. Everybody's smiling. You're in the corner. Everything is dangerous. Roll is terrifying. Jump is terrifying. Crouch is terrifying. Standing in place is terrifying. You know, like it goes back and forth really hard because of the corner. And so like you typically don't get to use this necessarily like as much as you would want, like because if I do this and then Marth just like wave dashes towards me, now I'm in the corner, you know?
Right.
So this as like a raw input where you're just doing like boom and you run all the way away is very you're not going to use it that much. It's like kind of like a hard read. But the important part is that if I do this, I am also safe. So if I do laser retreating laser and he tries to get me, he cannot get me out of that. At all. It's totally safe. And so the nice thing about this is that let's say I do retreating laser, oops, I do laser, retreating high laser, something like that.
He'll jump into it.
And then he takes this laser and there's in, boom. He just got messed up for trying to counter that laser. And he can get something like that depending on the spacing, so you do need to watch out. Usually, this is just like a small note that normally if you get the high laser on Marth out of the air, you get like this, you get like that one. You want to do the dash dance down there instead, because he'll almost always fare out of it.
Right.
So you would want something like that. And then or dash dance in there, So he'll do something like, oop. I shot the wrong one. That's why Falco's annoying.
Yeah, right.
You have to shoot the exact right one on like every retreat. Yeah, something like that. And then so what Marth would get here is that. And that's just so if you think like if he jumps in and he especially a lot of times they'll just kind of like mash it, right? So you see him like whiff out of the fair like that, or sometimes they even do that, you know. But like if you think you catch him out of like if you do the retreating high laser and it catches him jumping, he's almost always gonna fair there. It's his best option, and so you can just do one little dash back, dash in, and do the same situation. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way. The secret strategy in this matchup is retreating laser, approaching laser. This is Falco's... Okay, so you might have seen my video about this one, right? Like the double laser in place against like Fox and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's one of Falco's top 2 laser patterns. The other one is this one. This is so good, and against Marth, this is like the reason you can even do anything.
Yeah,
I promise. So the reason for it is that if you shoot these lasers, they hit at like a specified timing, because you're staying in place and you're just shooting them as rapidly as you can. And so if you shoot this one, the gap between these 1 2 1 2, it's a bigger gap because you're moving away as the gun is firing. Like the laser ends up coming out further away, so the gap between when the hits hit Marth is larger. And so if Marth is expecting a double laser in place and tries to power shield it, he will miss the power shield on this because the timing is different from the 2 in place lasers. It's
right.
And if you do the opposite, and if you do this, the timing is shorter. So there's actually like stuff where like, let me see, CPU options. Okay, wait. Recording. Turn this off. CPU options. Jump. Yeah. So, and I need him to forward air out of the jump. Forward air. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if I do like. Wait. I guess I shot him too low. Yeah, so if I'm shooting him like this, he has a bunch of time between these 2 lasers to get me. If I shoot this one, so if I try to do like boom, and then I try to shoot this, I get hit. But if I shoot this one, and it's a little bit tricky to get this one perfect, but you can essentially get in kind of between the forward air because of this extra gap. Oof. That hurt. It's a little bit tricky to show in this exact spot. I'm not TAS, and usually the Marth isn't TAS either. But basically, there's a smaller window between the lasers, and so it both mixes up their timing and makes it easier for you to like get laser to interrupt whatever they're doing. What's up?
I was gonna say Marth's whole game plan is knowing what Falco's gonna do in order to hit him.
Yeah, true. Exactly. Okay, so you have these 3 laser patterns of this one, and you have laser approach, and you have laser retreat, and all 3 hit Marth with different timings. So there's sort of like a natural mix-up there with the timing, but let's go into like why it's actually so good, is that the issue is when you retreat, which is avoiding anything Marth does, you're now in the corner, which I mentioned before. But when you go in with the second laser, it's like, first of all, it's protected because the 2 lasers hit really quickly in succession. And then second thing is you end up sliding forward out of this second laser. Like if you're doing this, you slide forward a bunch. And a lot of times Falco is too slow to like get in and like shine Marth out of stuff. But if you have an approaching laser, that little slide, low key, changes everything unless you get in. That's like another element of it. The other element of it is that you don't have to take space while doing it. Because normally if you want to get an approaching laser, like we all know these are good, but Marth is just waiting to like nair you out of it or something like that, right? Like he's waiting for this approaching laser so he can just do his nair. And so the good news is that when you do this, you get the approaching laser out, but you never actually pushed into Marth's space. You end up, like I'm here, and I do this, I end up almost in the exact same position as I was before, but I have forward momentum, so there's sort of like an approach behind it. I have 2 quick lasers, and I'm sliding forward. So that is going to be your strongest approach situation against Marth, is laser approaching laser. But if you start it with the retreating laser, then it both has a timing mix-up and starts you safe. So let's put that all together. I know it's like a bunch of things kind of like small things in a row, but check this out. So if I do this laser, and then I do this laser, after the first laser hits, the second laser is unpunishable. After the second laser hits, the third laser out of the approach is really fast, and I have like an approaching advantage. So the laser pattern is laser, retreating laser, approaching laser. That's like the base pattern against Marth that will kind of define the matchup in a lot of ways. And I just had to get into like exactly like kind of why and stuff like that. And so then the idea is when you're playing this situation, the 3 lasers are the basis, and then you just add dashes as your mix-up, and that's like essentially the basic like laser neutral. And you'll still have like fade back down airs and stuff like that. Like you're still going to play the rest of neutral. But in terms of laser neutral, that is the pattern. It's like safe, 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 and you just hit him with 3 lasers and you get to approach him.
It's like the whole point's to frustrate him.
The whole point is what?
Oh, to frustrate him.
Not quite. The whole.
I don't mean mentally. I just meant like.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
just...
Yeah. Okay, I agree with you. Because like, my little like mantra for it is that you shoot Fox with lasers to keep him out. You shoot Marth with lasers to lock him down. A lot of times people end up, and I started playing this matchup like this when I first started playing Falco, is that you try to use the lasers to keep Marth out, just like Fox. But he's too good at getting in. He has like jump in fair, he has the big drift, he has the long sword. So you don't really get to play like this like zony stalemate game that you would play against Fox. The matchup sort of has a lot more like mix up and like aggression to it. Falco not only like gets to play more like a spacey, but kind of has to because he doesn't have access. Like if you full hop stalemate against Marth, it's not a stalemate. Like he can actually just hit you for coming down. It's kind of scary. And so like you have to be a little bit more like proactive. And so getting these lasers out and being like, okay, I have a laser pattern where I can laser Marth in safety is really nice because it's so active. During this whole process, you can be doing like, you know, like this. The idea is that you're like mixing it, and you're gonna use this. You're gonna use this sort of pattern, especially out of this approach. I do this a lot, like that, and Marth, or like this one. Marth every day of the week after this dashes back here. And so I do this to like, you know, beat like the pivot grab, like because he's thinking I'm gonna do this. And the goal of that is to push him into the corner, in which case, you know, once he's in the corner, I have, like, the backflip lasers and stuff to, like, keep him cornered, and you're looking for, like, a mix, and then you're looking for an edge guard. And that's basically, like, the whole game plan. Okay.
I know, so easy.
It sounds so nice and easy compared to what it is. That's why this matchup is so frustrating, is because you're like, now simply back air Marth's up B. And you're like, oh, that's not... Oh, I died?
I died. Yeah. I think I was trying to shine grab there. At that
It's small, but, like, low-key, if you down air Marth at 0 like this, I would just grab. I wouldn't even shine grab here.
Oh, yeah.
So they're just going to shield the shine, like, every time, most of the time. It's not a spot you want to be in anyway, but if you happen to get it, you can't play it like you just got, like, a normal down air, because it's not a normal down air, you know?
No, it's like Fox hit, like, 20-0.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, what you're saying, like, you play with lasers to keep Fox out, and then, you know, you're trying to keep Marth on the... Sorry.
Yeah, you want to keep him like in place or moving backwards. Like you really, and this matchup has a lot. There's a lot of like holding your ground in this matchup, to not move backwards, because like there's a lot of times in this matchup where you just play a mix that involves you not moving backwards, and then Marth like short hop approaching fares into your shield or something, and you just shine out a shield him and get a combo. A lot of times that's actually like the type of mix up that's going to be played, rather than like exactly when you're gonna like with Fox, it's like, oh, when is he gonna run in, I'll down air that, you know, like that's not like the same type of like idea against Marth.
No, it's like playing against Puff with Falco, just that's more extreme on keeping Puff
playing against who?
Puff.
Puff, yeah,
Like you're just
kind of.
trying to control center stage and laser and you know
A bit, yeah, a
outspace.
little bit. Okay, so this is another, not like, I don't know the best way to describe it. Basically, this matchup, you do not kill Marth out of like, you don't really kill him out of combos. Even when you watch Mango and he's popping off against Zane, it's one combo and then kill out of the edge guard every time. Like, and the edge guard requires a mix a lot of times to actually get the earlier kill. But when you get Marth in a combo, you should be pretty much always prioritizing like getting him off stage. The reasoning is that like, let's say Marth is off stage and he double jumps into you and he is at 75 and you back air him. And so now he has no like basically, the easiest way to describe it is when Marth is at really high percent and he's survival DIs, he goes up stupid high, and he has good enough drift that it low-key makes his recovery, like, better.
No, right, I agree.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain. And so basically, like, getting, like, Marth to, like, stupid high percent should only be a consequence. Like, Marth reaching, like, 120 should be a consequence of you missing multiple edge guards, not a consequence of your first big combo ended with Marth at 120. It's not the worst thing to have him at like high percent, but it's not ideal. You want to go for like edge guard attempts pretty much like while you can. So like basically against a lot of characters here, going for like the shine or something like that would be not that bad, because maybe against Spaceys you get shine up B, or if he's at a lower percent you get shine and like a forward smash or something. None of that stuff matters against Marth because he's always just going to be off stage doing the recovery anyway. So like as soon as he's in like spots like this, I understand that you kind of like messed up here a little bit, but I would definitely be prioritizing just getting him off stage at whatever cost rather than trying to get like sort of a big combo. This situation isn't perfectly instructive, but I would have definitely just like strong back aired here if I could, like full hopped back air, and then like just play out the edge guard.
And at 86%, he has to he pretty much has to go low, or try to land back on stage if you back air there, or it's like insane DI.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. Like yeah, if you hit him off at like 80, you're gonna end up like this right here. This is the Marth matchup.
Right. No, right.
If you fail at everything else, but you hit these, you'll win like every Marth set.
Oh, you'll be insane. Yeah, no, you'd be insane at the Marth matchup.
And so like this is where it's all about. All of this is only to force him off stage. Like the whole like neutral thing, you force him into the corner, is to eventually either force him like to nair him off or something, or most of the time my opening out of the corner is I get him to shield and I literally like laser grab forward throw and I forward throw him and now he's off stage and you just beat him here. And so like something really important to think of here is that this is not an option coverage. Don't try to option coverage. I think like it's okay in certain situations when he's really far away and he has like very limited options to option coverage it. Especially like he has no double jump, then sure, go for the option coverage. If Marth has a double jump, there's no like guaranteed win set of inputs to this situation, at least in like the modern meta, without using like a box or something. I don't know if there might be something secret in there, but like as far as I know, he has way too many options here to make this like a consistent edge guard. And I think a lot of times it comes down to like, I don't know, like I think a lot of times it's going to come down to you doing like kind of an aggressive mix up between like, okay, so like let's say you jump off right here and he does this. You could kind of back air that, you know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, so you grab the edge, he still has his double jump. Like, I am not loving the odds on this position. You're at mad high percent, so I'm actually in favor of this stall. I think this was like probably the option I would have chosen. I think that it's a little scary, but at high percent, it's not the biggest deal in the world. So I think this was good. So you got this refresh. Was this an accident, this part?
It might have been. I honestly couldn't tell you.
Okay, because I would definitely do like a double jump backwards here. Like you get this stall, he's
Like,
here. He would need to drift back to here to beat double jump back from ledge. So I would maybe do like a double jump back, see if he drifts back. If he does, maybe I just air dodge on stage and give up or something. But most Marths here would die to backwards double jump.
yeah, no, I saw somebody was explaining why Mango does it, and then he'll just slide beyond stage if Zane picks the right option.
Yeah, no, like a good reduction on his part. And the thing that needs to be like, and this is a lot of people have this issue against Sheik too, is that like they just look at her recovery like an algorithm, and with Sheik it's easier to look at it like an algorithm because it's so like stinking simple, but it's important to realize that like Marth recovering is just a disadvantaged state. And you should play it accordingly based on like what decisions they have. Similar to like how you like if you're gonna like shark someone, like if Marth is coming down from high up and you're sharking him, you don't have like a set number of inputs that you're not like, oh, Marth is coming down, I do this option, you know? Like he has a little bit too much, he has too many options to just like program in like a level 1 like response essentially to it. And so it's important when you hit him off to not be like, if I miss this edge guard, I'm bad, whatever, or anything. It's just part of the advantage state. And so and a lot of times, the big problem Falcos have, I see a lot of Falcos have, is they combo Marth a bunch, they hit him off stage, and then they do the world's most conservative edge guard ever. And it's good not to get reversaled, but they do like that type of edge guard where you just do it like based on an algorithm rather than like trying to actually beat Marth on like a mix. And then Marth gets back at like 120. And then they're like, all right, I'll play it again. And then they hit Marth off at 120. And now he's at 135 and he's drifting here. And they go for their algorithmic edge guard again and he gets back. And eventually Marth is at like 200%. And that's what you super want to avoid because that basically means that he like won a 50-50 edge guard situation like 6 times in a row or more. Which shouldn't really be possible.
Yeah, no, it comes from that fear as a Falco too. You're like, I don't want to die.
You're not trying to get like reversaled, right?
Yeah, you get burned too many times on the ledge. You're like, never again.
Exactly. But it's just the Falco life.
That is true. No,
and I think that like I am not super duper in favor of the like the ledge refresh. I think that like if you grind it and you have it mad precise, you can do it. What I try to do is I try to do the ledge refresh at a time when they don't have total freedom of when to hit me. Like basically if you mess up the ledge refresh by like 1 frame, the only frame you're vulnerable is like right before you grab the ledge, right? And I mostly just don't want them to be able to have like some form of like meaty hitbox out during that window. And so if I can avoid that, and I feel like it's kind of tricky for them, like maybe the only option they have is to hit me with up B out of it, it can be kind of tricky for them to get it, then I'll go for it. But a lot of times if like they have a double jump and stuff like that, it's a little bit sus, and if you end up getting the refresh, like if you get the refresh and Marth actually does swing here.
Oh, you're just dead.
Let me see. If you get this and like this happens, you gotta be like drop shine back here, something like that. Like it needs to happen. Because you got the refresh. Going for like a refresh and then going for a save option is like, man, you're a psychopath. You know what I mean? Like, not really, but like if you look at the reasoning involved, it's like, oh, I'll just go for this extremely dangerous 1 frame input and then go for the safest option coverage ever if I hit it. And it's like, what? So it's like if you're gonna choose where to make your risks against Marth on the edge guard, and when you choose to make your risk and you get away with it, you need it to pay off. And if you do a refresh and it's not paying off, I would probably not keep doing that refresh. I think this refresh is perfect. Okay. I was gonna say, if you were already on the edge here, this refresh was perfect. You could have played this situation on stage also, but it's fine to play it from ledge. But the thing, how should I describe it? So I think, and I've mentioned this to a few people, the Falco, Albert, he's really good at doing this, is that when Marth is off stage, there's like a timer for how long it takes him to get back, right? So he's here, he's off stage, he just gets out of hit stun. It'll take him a while to get back, right? You need to be threatening a back air on him as quickly as possible. You don't need to actually get him with it. Okay, think about it. If you jump way out here for a back air and he forward airs you,
he still has to make it back to stage in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, like, you're not gonna die out of his forward air here, ever. And so, like, he is in this big, big disadvantage. Like, think from Marth's perspective. His double jump is used. He has side B. Maybe if he goes crazy, he can air dodge on. And otherwise, he wants to, like, up B. And if you back air him out of his up B, he'll probably live. Forward smash, he might die here. So it's kind of like... You just can't think of this position as like, oh, like, I don't want to get reversal here as Falco. You know what I mean? Like, it's very easy to. But the goal needs to be to get out here as quickly as possible to threaten this. Because what you want is you want to prevent Marth's full drift in. He's going to want a big full drift in. And let's say right as soon as you hit him off, like right here, you just ran to the edge and did like shine turnaround backwards full hop. Something like that, like a big backflip. You don't have to do the shine turnaround, but maybe you run over here and you do shine turnaround, wave dash back, full hop, like backflip, like, or like just run over and just do wave dash back, full hop, backflip with like momentum, right? And the idea is like if he's trying to hit you, you're just gonna fly back to the stage, and so he would have to win a mix to send you back to the stage. And if you just pressure, like you jump out and he like fares thinking you're gonna go for a full commit, you have a guaranteed kill here because he's so far off stage that he just dies out of the back air. So you'll actually get to kill him like way earlier than you otherwise would by going for this. If you decide not to go for the back air, it forces him to drift further away, like I said, and that causes him to have way, way less recovery options. Because you know what I was saying, where like if he double jumps here and he uses his side Bs and he air dodges, he could still probably get to the stage. But let's say you jumped out and you threatened him here, and he had to drift back a little bit, and then you just drifted back to ledge here, but he wasn't able to get all of this. The lasers are not bad. I think they were kind of okay to shoot, especially because you were able to get to this position not too late, but it's still a little late. If you imagine if you were here, yeah,
just
he would just be. It's like the entire time you have this potential like instant double jump back air, or like falling back air, or like Mango. Sometimes he'll even jump up and shine stall and then drop a back air. You've probably seen that. And that's kind of like a stylish version on it. I don't like that one quite as much, but it still works really well, and it worked. It's not that I don't like it quite as much. It's more of like a trickier option once the Marth already knows you're gonna do this and stuff like that. But
but you're holding all the cards.
Yeah, you're holding all the cards here, so you need to be making like the big plays. Because what I was trying to say is that if you get Marth pushed back slightly more, he no longer has his on-stage air dodge option. Like if you get him here and he has to drift down here instead of forward, like if he doesn't get this, and he drifts in here, then like he's gonna have to either go to the ledge of the stage. It limits his options way harder. Maybe once his options are totally limited, he doesn't have his double jump, he doesn't have his side B charge, and he only has his up B, then you can go to the ledge, and then he has to go on stage, and you ledge dash punish him or something like that, and he's dead. But you need this threat of the back air all the time when he's off stage in order to actually like create any of that, because otherwise he just gets like a free recovery. And I think if you grab the edge here, I dislike the the lack of pressure here by like quite a bit. But once you grab the edge, if you end up in this spot and Marth is here, I think going for this refresh is pretty good. Honestly though, well, okay, what I'm gonna say is if you went for the refresh here, at least it's safe, But out of this position, I would definitely try to like hit him with a back air, like
I think
full.
You could even wall jump in air, like if you're feeling really saucy.
Oh, that'd be crazy. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That could work too. I would be a little bit afraid of it hitting him back towards the stage, but
no, right.
But it is a potential idea. Yeah, like I would rather you do something there, and
right.
He at least needs to like feel threatened somewhat, because now you're here and it's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
How much does this matter?
No, I was thinking the same thing. Like,
yeah, like now we're back on stage. It feels kind of silly. Like we're not even playing for like real money. I like that. You just messed him up there. Okay, nice.
I think I should have. I don't know if I should have gone top platform or laser there.
I would have up aired here. I
Okay.
like the up air here a lot because if he survival DIs, you get another hit, which is a lot of times a full hop down air up tilt. Like you get more of a combo out of it. And if he DIs out, we get to start our whole like edge guard thing. And when he's at lower percents like this, I'm way less likely to go for a back air, and I'll still go for the back airs, but I'm way more likely to like rip a timing mix up on his up B with a down air. Like I'll grab ledge and then just like try to down air him or something like that because I want like this early kill. I'm not super like. It's really tough to like limit his options. Like here, you're like, oh, how much can you threaten the back air? It's like not that you don't have like enough time really to threaten the back air, so I wouldn't worry about it too much there. If any of these spots had like the retreating laser, approaching laser, your neutral situation would be far improved here. Because what happens is because you don't want to retreat, it's understandable to not want to retreat. And it's understandable to not want to approach.
Falco's not in a bad spot right there.
Huh?
Like, it's not a terrible neutral stuff.
Oh no, this isn't. I'm not necessarily talking about this spot in particular.
Oh, you just mean in general.
I'm talking in general. Like, just a lot of these positions on the ground, I can tell you don't want to give up space by retreating because you can tell it's a disadvantage, and you don't want to approach because you can tell he's like walling, and so you end up kind of just sitting in place until he hits you.
Right.
It's just your left-right movement is not enough, basically.
No, and for me, it's hard to be grounded. Like I don't know why I like to jump a lot as Falco. Like,
Falco loves to jump. That's his big thing. But what I'm saying is that the retreating laser, approaching laser will break you out of that because it gives you ground mobility.
Right. Okay, I see.
That was the point I'm making.
On standing still,
is that like because you can tell that like moving back would be a good mix-up, but it puts you in a disadvantage. And the retreating laser lets you like boom, boom, like it lets you move from here to here and continue playing neutral with Marth. It essentially lets you get like a big dash dance. Think of it like a laser dash dance. Whereas right now you're doing the equivalent of like no dash dance because you're kind of just stuck in place.
Okay.
Okay. If you hit him off. So yeah, this is a little awkward, but like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, sometimes I kind of send these. Like, sometimes I'll just like full hop up and then just like nair. Like you can just drop with nair here. What happens if he forward airs you? You know?
Right.
Nothing. So I'll definitely sometimes just full hop up and just drop my nair right here. If you hit him out of his double jump here, he's dead. But I think once you grab ledge here, you're fine. I don't like the shine here because it limits your momentum. If you're going to go for a back air in this spot, you want to press back away from the ledge and then do like a back air and then immediately drift back to the stage. It'll cover way further out. Like it'll cover here. Whereas if you do this back air, it covers here, which is surprisingly a big difference.
All right.
Something to keep in mind. You'll hit a lot more Marths in that spot. Good. See, once you have these corner positions, I feel like you're getting like good reads and stuff. It's mostly the grounded neutral and then like lack of being proactive on the edge guard. That's like the two things I've seen so far.
No, that's what I'd say. Or my largest weakness is like not being horizontal enough as Falco, and then just not edge guarding. Like, that's pretty applicable to a lot of characters.
Small note: I always down throw Marth at 0.
Okay, just force him to tech and just.
Yeah, you get a mix. I would say like basically I just down throw and then you can just choose to either read tech in place / miss tech, or if they do a roll, a lot of times you get approaching laser regrab on the tech roll.
You're right.
And so I'll just be like imagine if you do a down throw here and he tech rolls here and you get laser regrab and then you do a forward throw and he's off stage now. You know, it's like a big difference.
Yeah, no, you're right. Wow. It's always the tiny things.
And so yeah, this is like one of the spots. One sec. this is one of the spots where I'm like, yeah, the retreating half laser sometimes kind of puts you in a bad spot. Because look, you do this retreating half laser here, but it puts you at this weird range where you can't really approaching laser out of this super easily because you didn't give up enough space to take the space safely. And that's why I like the full retreating laser there. If you do a full retreating laser here to right here, you'll have a guaranteed full approaching laser. Whereas when you do this one, doing a full approaching laser from this range is a little scary.
And you get hit out of it, most likely.
Yeah, exactly. You can get hit out of it.
And then I have a bad habit too, double jumping out of shine too early when I go up. I don't know. Did you ever run into that?
Double jumping out of shine too early, like you get
Like,
stuck in shine.
no, where you're like burning your double jump really fast after you're not getting like the full hop out of the first jump of shine. Like if you do like a grounded shine.
Wait, does it come up at some point?
Right here.
Like that?
Yeah, but sometimes I'll do them too early. Or like I'll double jump lower. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe I'm thinking wrong. But you don't really get the full. You don't get to drift. You don't get to waveland because you accidentally double jump too early. So you just miss that half second of read or react.
yeah. So like, why are you instant double jumping here?
Yeah, I don't know.
I see. It's just like a bad habit.
Yeah.
I see. Small thing here. This type of situation, short hop up air.
Okay.
The problem is that look at him. If you go above him, and I think that this was not a bad option, but I would have preferred the up air. I think it just put you in a little too much danger. Oh, this is terrifying. I would have never done this here. I would have done a laser here for sure. The back air is psychotic. It's just like, yeah, I mean, if it hits though, and it's like, whoa, this is Marth. You were just scared of him a second ago. Okay. Sure.
That's what I think every time I get side beat. Sure.
Yeah, no, I literally save. I'm just like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll do it at low percent. I'll jump off stage at low percent.
Importantly, if you want to hit this, always wave dash off backwards.
Yeah, so you get that momentum.
Because you'll reach him with this. It's also the facing backwards thing.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
But this was like, I would prefer you doing this than just kind of sitting on stage, you know?
Right.
Like, the proactive edge guards are definitely important. Okay.
So scared to run away from Marth. Like you said, it's actually...
Yeah, dude, this is that thing. This is like when you're on the platform. Look at him. He can't really get you. But he gets you for coming down. That's what they thrive off of. During all of these, imagine like you could have just like if you let's like this one, you could have dropped through after this and fast fell through and probably gotten to him, you know? In a similar situation. But they always get you coming down, and so it makes it feel like Marth is strong. He doesn't hit you for this. Note that. He did not hit you for coming here. He only gets you when you try to come down. Once again, you know, like, you're not in danger for going up here. Like, you're right here. Oh, I went up here. Not in danger. Totally chilling. Come down. Possible danger.
And that's what I try to do with slide off, is just go to top platform. And then that just becomes, part of neutral with the mix-up.
What was that?
It's so good. Like, so wave landing on the top platform after sliding off. Like, if you can't get a hit.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you should like loop this basically. Like you get this forward throw, retreating laser again, or retreating turnaround laser again, like right here, and then just like repeat it. There's just this little range like right here where you can kind of just keep shooting lasers and like holding him there, but sometimes he will escape to the platform anyway, and so it's fine to like get out of the way a little bit. This is like the whole like. This is why This is why it's important to think of the lasers as holding Marth in place and not keeping him out. Because when you get in a spot like this... When you get here, it's important to realize that, like, you are the spacey. You know what I mean? And, like, you are going to be the proactive one here, or you should be the proactive one here. At least, like, not that you should be the... What am I thinking was the best way to say? Marth is just going to assume you're going to do an instant action and try to counter it somehow. You should not be trying to counter Marth's... that's not the right way to say it.
Yeah, Marth's trying to react to you. You're not trying to react to Marth.
Yeah, basically what I'm saying is this option is too conservative. Once you actually end up in like a raw scramble against Marth and there's no way out, you can either full retreating laser, like big retreating laser, or just straight up like fight it out. This is why you see Mango like wave dash. Like Mango here will literally wave dash and jab. Like a lot.
Just like, give me it, yeah.
Because he's like, well, Marth is probably going to be dash dancing, or like, it's just like, what is Marth going to be doing here? And it's like, a lot of those options have to do with, like, it's hard to describe it perfectly, but basically, like, Marth is somewhat limited here, and you aren't, but if you play it like you're limited, Marth will win.
Right. But he's within wave dash range.
Yeah, like, you just have a lot of options here. Like, you can wave dash in, shine, wave dash and shield, wave dash and jab. You can crouch for a second. There's a lot of, like, little scramble options that you can do here. And, like, I think showing Marth that you're not just like, sword, runaway laser is really good.
Right.
And, like, basically when this dash attack hits, and it will hit you sometimes, it's just good to like, let that remind you of that idea. That, like, oh, like, I need to not be afraid of, like, the actual scrambles. Like, the ones that you can't avoid. And
right.
yeah, dude, this is smart. Sorry, this annoys me. This is every Marth. They're right here, and they're just like, oh, you double jumped? Okay, well, if you come down, I'll get you. And it's not necessarily, like, a bad option from their end. It's just, like, it annoys me that, like, this should never, ever, ever hit, but they do it, like, you know, like, and then you fall through and try to counterattack. But ultimately, this will never hit you. They can't really get up high and get you, and they're just gonna do this. So this is important to remember. When you are up here, watch what Marth does. Is Falco coming down? Is Falco coming down? Like, literally, that's what they're gonna do, and it's like, that does not mean Marth is good against top plat. It actually means Marth is bad against top plat, because if he was good against top plat, he'd be hitting you. So, like, I think that, like, and honestly, especially against, like, the not quite as good Marth, but it works really well against other players too, you can get, like, little mixes here. You can get, like, drop through, double jump, wave land off, fast fall through the platform down air on this up tilt, and, like, you'll hit a lot of Marths for that. And so a lot of times when I go up to the top plat, I just start, like, drop through, double jump, wave land, drop through, double jump, wave land, and they're just like, is this the time? And a lot of times you can get, like, a lot of good baits and stuff out of that.
Okay, yeah, it's just, okay. Huh.
It's just kind of interesting. Like, they've convinced everyone they're good against platforms. This is
Big
not
Marth.
really, not really true. Big Marth, that's funny. Okay. We have like 4 minutes. What would you like to do with the remaining few minutes? We can go a couple minutes over if we find something interesting to talk about or something, but kind of curious where you want to go from here.
I really don't know. That's a lot of information. It's just
yeah, we could call it here, and you could just like ask any final questions or like thoughts or whatever too. And it's kind of up to you what to do with the last little bit.
Oh no, you're fine. I think it was awesome. I just expected to get not ripped apart more, but just a little bit more. Why'd you do this?
Yeah, I think a lot of times it's like Falco has. I think with like maybe like Fox or something, stuff like that comes up more. With Falco, a lot of times it's like, man, there's one right answer and like 4,000 bad answers, okay. And it's like somebody does the wrong one, and you're like, do you know about this good one? Like, if you just do this one, it would work. You know, like it a lot of times there's not too much to tear apart up to a certain point, and then once you get to a certain point, you're like, look at this. Why is this laser not slightly higher? You know, and so it's like there's kind of like two pieces to Falco, and like based on like what I'm watching from this VOD, I think like there were just it feels like you have pieces of the matchup, and there were just like a few fundamental pieces that are somewhat missing. Mostly pressuring on the edge guard, thinking of the edge guard as like a mix-up, like going for the back air on it, and then like the retreating laser, approaching laser, like maintaining mobility, and then also recognizing that like staying on the top plat and the side plats is actually very strong, and he's mostly just waiting for you to come down.
Okay.
And so I think if you like kind of work on those and get it down, and you're still struggling against Marth, then, and we did like another lesson or something like that, we could probably go through and like work out a bunch more like small things. But right now I feel like the issue is a lot more like grand in scale, and more like you're literally like missing like just this one big chunk. You know, like the laser neutral is a big chunk of it. And like if you're not using retreating laser, approaching laser, and mixing the dash dances in and stuff like that, the matchup it's just not like real, you know. It just ends up being like maybe I win some, maybe I lose some. Marth is spamming moves, blah blah blah. And I think you said something earlier, maybe of like, oh, it's like simpler than I thought, you know. And it's almost like Puff in that way, where when you stick to the rules and you play it right, things generally go like pretty well. And when you let things go into the chaotic direction, a lot of times they go in the opponent's favor. And so something I sort of like keep in my head mentally is that like Marth wants the chaos really badly. And it's also important to realize that like if you're in a scramble and you like wave dash and jab or something, that's not technically like really bad like chaos. What I mean is that Marth wants to like get you out of your game plan, you know. He wants to get you in like weird spots where you're like, down air's usually good here, and then he's like, drop through up air, like I win. That is like what they're looking for a lot of times, and your job as the Falco is to sort of like play this very limited game in neutral for the most part. And you'll have slight variations, and those slight variations are gonna be like your big mixes. It's not a very like fluid, dynamic matchup in every way. It kind of like most of the time, like I have sort of like a when Falco is winning, it goes in this direction. Marth gets pushed in the corner and edge guard. When Marth is winning, you know, it gets either chaotic or Falco gets pushed into the corner and like insta killed or something like that. And like normally when I watch a match, like even like Mango Zane or something, it happens like according to that like plan sort of like, is Falco able to, you know, play the simple neutral well enough, consistently enough, or will Marth like poke a hole in it by randomly like naring or fairing or something like that?
Okay. No, that makes sense. Because I remember hearing a couple years ago, it's like everything. Falco's so annoying to play against because you have to react to everything he's doing or read him.
Yeah, no, Marth against Falco. That's the thing, is when you play Marth against a Falco and they use the lasers really well, you just feel like you're like a helpless baby. Like, I'm not gonna lie. You just sit there like, when I took laser, and you're like, up tilt, and it doesn't work, and you're like, power shield laser, wave dash in there, that didn't work either, and he's lasering you again, you're like, and it's just like, Marth has a really tough time against Falco unless Falco is just giving it to him. And unfortunately, you have to play like 6+ hours a day to never ever give it to him.
Yeah, right.
But at least you can do a better job and you'll beat most Marths. Like without needing to like play full time. Like I think if Falco plays full time, Marth just gets absolutely destroyed.
That's
But
funny. That's a funny comment.
I think if you play under full time, you know, he starts creeping in. And if you're just playing for fun and you show up to the local once a week, then the Marths are like, give me that guy. I need that guy in bracket. Okay. Any final thoughts, questions, or anything like that?
Besides, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Great. Yeah. Thank you too. And let me know how this goes. If you have any additional clips or questions or something coming up, just let me know. And don't feel shy to ask. And anyway, hope you have a good one. And hope you have a good rest of the day.
Thanks, man. You too. Enjoy the pool.
I will. Thanks. Peace.
Peace out.